So in the memory model, the way I deal with that is, so there's my box, and over here I put the function name. The function name is sum right here. So I can put sum here. Let's just put let's say like that, and then then I need my return value, but I don't know what it's going to be just yet. I need to actually go through the function line by line. So I know I'm here in this line first, and this function is called. So I jump back here to line 1. Now I'm at line 1. So to show that, basically, it would look something like, say something like this. I'm here right now, and I'm going through this function because I jump back to line 1 because of this call over here. So once I go there, in the right here, I notice that there are two parameters, x and y. We call these parameters when to a function. We call x and y the parameters of the function. It's just the variables for the function that when you pass stuff into the function, these variables will store those things. That's what a parameter is. And arguments are these things. Arguments are the things that you're actually passing. So first num and second num are the arguments to my function. Okay, so over here I notice that I'm passing in first num and second num. Okay, first num is id 0, second num is id 1. So in the memory model, what I do here is, since I don't know the return value here, I'll leave this blank for now. But I do know that whatever I get returned from sum, it'll be stored in result. So I'm going to do something like this. I'm going to put, for now, just to help me remember, I put result, and I'm going to put in some ID number, which I'll create later on, that'll store that something. So that when that comes, once I'm done with this function, when that comes, I'll store it over here where it's supposed to be. So I don't know what it is yet. I'm just going to put it here because it's going to return that value, and it's going to store it in here. Okay, so that's blank for now. Now since I'm in local space, I noticed that right in this line, so I jump to this line, I noticed that x and y are the parameters. So what's going to happen here is, since I'm passing first num for x and second num for y, in the memory model, it's going to look like something like this. X is going to point to first num. Okay, x is going to point to first num because I'm passing in first num for x. Okay, what was first num? Well, I can just look right here. I don't want to look here just yet. I just want to look right here in terms of addresses. And I noticed that first num was id 0. So since I'm passing in first num for x, I just put id 0 for x. Okay, and I do the same thing for second num. Since I'm passing in second num for y, local to this function, y is going to be second num. Second num is just id 1. So put id 1. And I'm done there. Now, I'm done with this line. So I can now go to the next line. Here, I've got another variable called mySum. So let's just make this box a bit bigger. So I got another variable called mySum, and it's going to store something. Let's just do that something right now because we're now on this line. So my sum is equal to x plus y. So my sum is going to be x, which is id 0, plus y, which is id 1. So my sum is equal to id 0 plus id 1. What's that? So that's just basic math. So id 0, I look, is 3. id 1 is 8. So I know 3 plus 8 is 11. So I'll need another address for the number 11 since I don't have one yet. So I'll do ID2 is 11. And I'll store ID2 over here. Alright, we're almost done. Next thing we got is that our last line, which is a return statement. It says return my sum. And if you remember, this is where a return value was going to be stored. So over here is what we're going to return and store. So return my sum just means return the address to my sum. My sum is just ID2, so I'm going to put ID2 here. And since I'm done with this function, I can get rid of that. And I can actually get rid of this whole box right here. But before I actually do that, I'll notice that what I actually did this whole thing for was for line 7. Result is storing whatever sum is returning. So it's just right here. I just have to look at this box. Since I set it up in that way, I just have to look at this portion here. So result stores ID2. Okay, and since I'm done with this function, I can cross it out, I can erase it, whatever you see fit. Okay, so we're done there. That means we're done with line 7. Our last line is line 8. And here is the only thing that I'm printing for this example. This is just, as you can see, I'm using the plus operator for a bunch of strings. So I'm just concatenating a bunch of strings. It just means I'm combining a bunch of strings together. So what I'm printing here is this one giant string. So I'm going to break it up one at a time. So this part is going to say the string, so I'm casting string to something here, which is first num. First num is, as I check back here, ID0. ID0 is 3. So I'm going to do 3. Because again, I'm printing this one giant string, and I'm just printing one step at a time. So string of 3 is just 3. Then I'm concatenating to it this string, which is space plus space. So space plus space. Then I'm going to do string of second num, which is just string of ID1. Second num is pointing to ID1. ID1 is 8, so string of 8. And then I'm going to concatenate the plus equals. I'm going to concatenate space equals space. So space equals space. And then I'm going to just look at this part, string of result. Result is ID2. ID2 is 11. So string of 11 is just that string that's being concatenated, and this is my output. And this will be the end of this example.